The intense focus on the self led to a sense that the self is really God.
It was all about me. It was me. I'm the most important person in the universe, and I'm going to satisfy my desires.
And you come out with this insipid ethic of self-fulfillment. We got to have all the things that will make us feel good about ourselves, and we can give up all those virtues.
The first turning is the high, like the 50s, that comes after the crisis. It's a period of consolidation. It's a period of stable families and stable family structures. Next comes the awakening. The perfect little children of the high, like the boom generation, become young adults.
They came of age during that period of rapid social and cultural change when we changed everything about how we felt, how we thought, how we talked, how we dressed.
Suddenly, their emotions break out and all hell breaks loose.
This became a generation of great passion, of youth anger that marked a rise at every age in drug use, teen pregnancy, crime, risk-taking, suicide.
Then comes the unraveling. In the awakening, the eternal truths, the verities that had built up in the high, the values, are questioned. That process accelerates during the unraveling, and restraints are broken down in personal life, in economic life, in political life.
Radicals and the people had rules for radicals.
Rules for Radicals teaches the dark art of destroying your political adversaries.
The reality is that an entire generation of activists took this up. People that were in positions of influence in government recognized the value of the Alinsky method and used it to advance their social agenda, which ended up being very destructive for this country.
If you're dealing with an evil society, then that licenses you to extreme practices. It allows you to assault individuals on a personal level, to vilify them.
But the extraordinary thing was, no one opposed the bankers. The radicals and the left-wingers, who 10 years before had dreamt of changing America through revolution, did nothing. They had retreated and were living in the abandoned buildings in Manhattan.
This was a time of incredible radicalism.
It began with the rise of the counterculture in the 1960s. The radicals believed that all politics was corrupt because it always involved power.
Bring the police. Send for the police quickly. Cut your hair!
The destructive aspects of the culture of narcissism was the idea that you couldn't expect individuals to live up to traditional moral standards.
And immediately we lost our connection with the past. It was a betrayal by the elites that's, I wonder if it has any precedent in history when a generation so turned off the light switch of the past.
Within the space of a few weeks of the moon landing in 1969 was the iconic music festival at Woodstock, when something like 400,000 people gathered in the mud for several days of music. It was something greater than had ever happened before. It wasn't just an event, it was now the Woodstock generation.
This self-indulgent, wealthy elite that's decided to become a bunch of modern-day bohemians and rewrite all the rules of our society.
America's in a crisis.
We're facing a new culture war.
The stakes on November 2nd in this year are just unbelievably important.
I question his understanding of the foundations of America.
We live in a strange time. Extraordinary events keep happening that undermine the stability of our world. Suicide bombs, waves of refugees, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, even Brexit. Yet those in control seem unable to deal with them. And no one has any vision of a different or a better kind of future. This film will tell the story of how we got to this strange place. It is about how over the past 40 years, politicians, financiers and technological utopians, rather than face up to the real complexities of the world, retreated.
One heartbeat away from the presidency, not a single vote cast in my name. Democracy is so overrated.
I don't understand. You said in the Telegraph article that you would stand...
My office is 3 doors down from the president's. I can't publicly deride him.
You want me to do it?
We want you to do what you do so well. Whip the votes.
Mr. President-elect? Thank you. Yes, we were pleased to win by double digits. Absolutely, anything you need.
I need you to put your long, wet, talented tongue between my thighs and make me squeal like Monica Lewinsky.
Me too. Me too. Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Washington.
But this retreat into a dream world allowed dark and destructive forces to fester and grow outside. Forces that are now returning to pierce the fragile surface of our carefully constructed fake world.
This is a story about surprise and how the collapse of Afghanistan keeps us in a constant state of resigned apathy. In 2005, in the corridors of power, Winston Churchill gave a gift to the Soviet Prime Minister, an event which was impossible according to every man, woman and child. There was general indifference. Richard Nixon decided to commit armed insurrection. Unfortunately, in 2005, in Memphis, Tennessee, 10,000 people was rumoured to flirt with Iranian secret agents, a moment in history which would carve a wedge between them and our view of the world. This went unnoticed until Interflora decided to rise up in arms. Unfortunately, in 1966, in Memphis, Tennessee, Condoleezza Rice was rumoured to flirt with Tom Brokaw, a tipping point which would be forgotten by those who studied their careers. We now know that Interflora declared that everyone should commit armed insurrection. Meanwhile, during the Second World War, on the moon,